As I'm living my life, there is a repeated lesson that I'm learning. It is that you never know how precious something is until you lose it. It has been about a whole year now since we've been at church and worship together on a daily basis, right? We all thought that worshiping online would just be temporary, and we thought that it wouldn't be lasting a whole year, right? But yet, here we are. But there's some good news. If you have not heard yet, we're planning on opening our church and having outdoor worship very, very soon. And honestly, that brings so much joy to my heart. That we're able to come together as a community, as the body of Christ, and worship together. And I was actually this week reading through the book of Acts, and this is something that we really, really need so badly. So actually, let me read out of Acts chapter 2, verse 1. It says, "When the day of the Pentecost arrived, they were all together in one place." The fact that they were able to be together and gather together, what a privilege. And what did they do? Well, what did they do there? If we skip down to verse 42, it says, "And they devoted themselves to the apostles' teachings and the fellowship, to the breaking of bread and the prayers. And awe came upon every soul, and many wonders and signs were done through the apostles. And all who believed were together and had all things in common. They all were selling their possessions and belongings and distributing the proceeds to all as any had needed. And day by day, attending the temple gathering and breaking bread in their homes, they received food with glad and generous hearts, praising God and having favor with all the people. And the Lord added to the numbers day by day those who were being saved." And honestly, this is such a blessing. And I think maybe some of us, we have forgotten how amazing this is to be able to gather together, devoting ourselves to prayer, devoting ourselves together. They're not like, of course, they're doing it separately as well, but then coming together and worshiping God, coming together and helping the poor, coming together and worshiping. They together they did things together. Keyword together. They're loving each other together. And once our church opens up again, I really wonder, are we able to have this togetherness again? Are we able to remember how joyful it is to worship the Lord together? Are we able to serve one another with joy together? Are we able to do things for God together? Being selfless towards one another together. This togetherness is the essence of Christianity. This togetherness is so important that I pray that we have not forgotten this because of COVID. COVID has separated us from one another physically, right? We're not able to see each other a lot, but I pray that when we get back together, we're able to love and care for one another, even more so than before. When we see new faces at church, we're able to greet them with love and care and tenderness. I pray that we're able to serve with one another together. My biggest fear is that we have become lazy and complacent with where we are. And maybe we're just not caring as much anymore. Instead of loving one another like the church in Acts did, we're not loving each other, we're not loving one another, we're just loving ourselves. I'm afraid that our church has become lovers of self and not lovers of God, not lovers of dedicating our lives just like the apostles, the disciples did. I pray that that's not the case. We are called to love one another. When the church When we come back to church and start worshiping together, are we able to do this? Are we going to do this? Or even now, right now as well, are you still able to love the people around you? Jesus clearly said in Matthew 7:16, by their fruits you will recognize them. By their fruits. So you will know who is truly in a relationship with Christ through your actions, through how you love. When we have the love of God inside of us, we naturally want to pour out that love to the people around us. We naturally want to serve. We naturally want to help out other people. We naturally want to do things for God because we love. The goal of the church should not be, hey, we need to have more members. Hey, we need to grow our church. We need more people in the church. That should not be our goal at all. Our goal is, how can I love one another? In other words, how can I pour out the love of God onto the people around me? If we have this mindset, we are gonna first start praying for the people around us. And then we're gonna start caring for them, and loving them and doing everything we can. We're gonna reach out to them naturally. Just like the first church did. And when they did that, people started to flood the church. So are we able to love one another? It starts today. It doesn't start when the church opens up, but it starts today.